Let me ask you something. What if the whole idea of working your tail off until you're 65 is just wrong? Today, we're tearing apart a book that didn't just question that idea. It laid out a step-by-step escape plan. It's Timothy Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek, and its promise is nothing short of completely flipping your ideas about work, money, and life on their head.
Right off the bat, the book hits you with this choice. I mean, really think about it. The default path, you grind it out for 40, maybe 50 years, saving up for a retirement you might be too worn out to even enjoy, or you could choose something radically different. This one question, right here, is the key to everything we're about to unlock.
So the book frames the normal career path as a trap. It's built on this idea of deferred living. You sacrifice all your energy and your best years now for the promise that you can finally start living later. The people caught in this cycle, they're called deferrers, and they're always putting their real life on hold for some golden retirement that might never come. And here you can see the two mindsets side by side. It's a total clash of philosophies. On one side, you've got the deferrers. The author tells the story about a casino manager named Mark. On the surface, the guy was a huge success. You know, giant diamond ring, flying to Vegas on a whim, but he was absolutely miserable, having spent 30 years in jobs he hated. And then you've got the new rich, who just completely rewrite the rulebook.
So, who exactly are these new rich? Well, forget what you're thinking. This isn't about trust fund kids or tech billionaires. This is a whole subculture of people who've decided that the real currencies in life are mobility and time. They care more about having absolute freedom than they do about having a massive bank account. They design lives where they're in control, not chained to a desk or a rigid schedule. And this, right here, is the absolute core of the whole idea. Think about it. When people dream of being a millionaire, what are they really dreaming about? It's the freedom, right? The travel, the hobbies, the time to do what they love. The new rich just have a realization. You don't actually need the $1 million to get those things. You can design a lifestyle that gives you all of that, right now. Okay, so the idea is exciting, for sure. But how do you actually make it happen? This is where the book stops being philosophy and starts being a practical manual. It gives you a 4-step framework, a literal recipe for getting out of the 9-to-5, and it's all summed up with the acronym D.E.A.L.
So here it is, your roadmap: definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. D.E.A.L. Each step is built on the one before it, and together, they're designed to take you from just thinking differently to actually freeing up your time and your location. So let's jump in, starting with D for definition.
First things first, you have to completely change the rules of the game you're playing. So instead of one big retirement party at the end, you sprinkle your life with mini retirements. You know, maybe taking a month off every year to go learn salsa in Spain. And here's a wild trick. Set huge, unrealistic goals. Why? Well, the author once challenged his Princeton class to contact a celebrity like Beyoncé. Guess what? No one even tried. The point is, competition for the realistic goals is fierce. But the huge, crazy goals, the field is wide open, because most people are too scared to even try. All right, next up is E for elimination. And this is all about becoming absolutely ruthless with your time. This whole step is built on something called the Pareto principle, but you probably know it as the 80-20 rule. And it basically says that for almost everything in life, a tiny fraction of your effort is creating the vast majority of your results. You see, most of us spend our entire day stuck in that big slice of the pie, the 80% of effort that's just wasted motion. We trick ourselves into thinking that being busy is the same as being productive. You know the drill: endless emails, pointless meetings, busy work. The goal of elimination is to figure out what that critical 20% is, and then have the courage to just cut everything else. And this is where it gets real, because cutting out that 80% of junk isn't always easy. It's having that tough conversation with a client. It's saying no to your boss. It's finally tackling that one huge project you've been putting off. That feeling of fear, that little knot in your stomach, that's not a warning sign. It's a compass, pointing you directly at what you need to do most. Now we get to the last two steps: automation and liberation. Now, for entrepreneurs, the goal is to build a business that runs itself. But for employees, the book makes a really important point. You have to flip the order. You've got to achieve liberation first. You have to free yourself from the office before you can really automate the rest of your life. So, how in the world does an employee pull off this Vanishing Act? It's not about just walking in and asking. It's a strategic 5-step plan.
Take the story of Sherwood. First, he made himself more valuable by getting extra training. Then, he called in sick for 2 days, but used that time to double his normal output from home, creating a clear record. Armed with that proof, he proposed a simple one-day-week trial showing he was actually more productive away from office chatter. And from there, he just kept expanding his remote time until he was totally free.
Now, for anyone who wants to build their own income stream, the goal is to create something called a Muse. And this is a really key distinction. A Muse is not a stressful startup that takes over your entire life. It's a business that's engineered from the very beginning to run on its own, bringing in cash without you having to be there all the time.
A great Muse follows some simple rules. Its purpose is crystal clear, like Apple's original iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket. It offers very few choices, so customers don't get confused. It's priced as a premium item, somewhere between 50 and 200 bucks, to get you better customers and bigger profits. And it makes a bold guarantee, like Domino's famous 30 minutes or it's free.
But listen up, because this is probably the single most important rule of all. You have to test your idea before you create anything. Don't waste your life savings on a product nobody actually wants. The book gives a great example of a yoga teacher named Johanna. Before she even thought about filming a yoga DVD for rock climbers, she just set up a simple website and ran some Google ads to see if anyone would click by now. Only after she proved that real people would pull out their wallets did she bother to actually make the DVD. So we've made our way through the entire D.E.A.L framework. And that brings us to the final part, which honestly might be the most powerful idea in the whole book, turning your fuzzy daydreams into a cold, hard number. This is a total game changer. Most of us just assume our dream life would be insanely expensive, right? So we don't even let ourselves think about it seriously. But what if living like a millionaire costs way, way less than $1 million? The idea here is to stop guessing and start doing the math. And the exercise itself is actually pretty simple. First, you just list out everything you want. The sports car, the personal chef, learning to speak Greek. Then you figure out the monthly cost. See, you don't buy the Ferrari, you lease it. You don't hire a full-time chef, you get a meal service. When you add it all up, you get your target monthly income. And that number, your actual real-world dream number, is almost always shockingly lower than you could have ever imagined. And we're gonna end on this last little mind bender. This whole process, it's not really about just listing things you want. It's about figuring out what truly, deeply excites you. Because once your goals are powered by genuine excitement instead of some vague sense of what you should want, the unrealistic starts to feel very, very real. And there you have it, a deep dive into the core concepts from the 4-Hour Workweek. It's definitely a challenging book, one that really makes you stop and question everything about the modern way we work and live. Thanks for digging into it with us.